Welcome back, everyone. If you're into gear that holds up when everything else quits, you're in the right place. Today we're kicking off a deep dive into shotguns that have earned their reputations the hard way. Through years of real use, rough handling, and situations where failure just isn't an option. From legendary classics trusted by generations of hunters to modern heavy-duty builds designed for truly unforgiving conditions, this lineup of 15 standouts represents the best of the best. Each one makes the cut because it delivers real reliability, real strength, and real staying power. Some models push the envelope with fresh innovation, while others remain unstoppable icons simply because their designs refuse to age. Stick around as we break them down one by one. Let's jump in and get things started right now. Starting us off at number 15 is the Kel-Tec KS7, one of the most uniquely American shotguns you can buy today. This is a true bullpup 12-gauge pump action that stuffs an 18.5-inch smoothbore barrel and a full-power 12-gauge chamber into an overall length of just 26.1 inches. That's shorter than many AR-15s with their stocks collapsed, making it an absolute beast for home defense, truck guns, or anywhere space is at a premium. Empty weight is a featherlight 5.9 lb, and unloaded it feels almost like a toy until you rack the slide and remember you're holding a real 12-gauge. Capacity is officially 6+1 with 2 3/4-inch shells or 7+1 if you run mini shells, giving you crazy firepower for the size. The single magazine tube runs directly above the barrel in classic bullpup fashion. And Kel-Tec cleverly put the loading port and pump release at the rear, right behind the pistol grip, so the gun stays perfectly balanced before and after you top it off. Pump travel is super short and slick thanks to the dual action bars, and the forend has aggressive texturing plus M-Low-K compatible slots on the sides for lights or lasers. One of the coolest features is the integrated carry handle that doubles as a fiber optic sight housing, pop-up iron sights with a bright green front pipe that glows in any light, no batteries needed. Ejection is straight downward through a big port at the bottom, so it's 100% ambidextrous. Shells drop between your feet instead of smacking you or your buddy in the face, which is a huge deal for lefties or when shooting next to walls. The crossbolt safety sits right behind the trigger and is easy to flick on or off with the index finger. Standout tech here is the fact that you're getting a full 18.5-inch barrel and full velocity performance in something shorter than a lot of shockwave-style firearms, but without the NFA paperwork or tax stamp. Recoil is surprisingly tame for such a light gun because the heavy recoil spring lives inside the beefy polymer stock and soaks up a lot of the kick. Downsides, the pump can feel a little gritty when brand new. Capacity is still lower than traditional pumps if you don't run minis, and there's no easy way to mount a side saddle because of the bullpup layout. You're basically stuck with the tube capacity or a butt cuff. Street price as of late 2025 hovers right around $489 $520 depending on color. And for that money, you're getting one of the most innovative, compact, and flat-out fun 12-gauge platforms on the market. If you want a shotgun that disappears in a backpack but still hits like a sledgehammer, the Kel-Tec KS7 is an absolute no-brainer at number 15. Moving on to number 14, the Benelli Montefeltro. This is the definition of an elegant, do-it-all upland semi-auto that still looks like it belongs in a glass case when you're done hunting. Available in 12-gauge and 20-gauge versions, with a few 28-gauge models sneaking in lately, the Montefeltro is built around Benelli's legendary inertia-driven system, meaning no gas ports, no piston rings, no heavy valves. Just 3 main parts in the bolt that cycle everything from light 1-ounce target loads up to 3-inch magnums, with 0 adjustments needed. That clean-running action keeps the receiver spotless, even after a couple hundred rounds, so you're wiping it down with a rag instead of scrubbing carbon for an hour. Overall length, with the standard 26-inch barrel, is right at 47.5 inches, stretching to 49.5 inches with the 28-inch option. And it tips the scales at a very carry-friendly 5.6 to 6.9 pounds, depending on gauge and wood density. Perfect for walking miles of CRP or chasing Chukar up a mountain. The satin walnut stock and forend are gorgeous, with crisp checkering that actually bites into your hand when it's wet. And Benelli gives you 6 drop and cast shim options, plus adjustable length of pull spacers right in the box so you can dial in a perfect fit without paying a stock fitter. Up front, you get the signature red fiber optic bar sight, paired with a mid-bead on a narrow ventilated rib that keeps your eye floating naturally to the bird. Barrels are cryogenically treated, cryo barrels with extended cryo chokes, ICMF usually shipped, producing noticeably tighter and more uniform patterns than most field guns in this price range. Recoil is surprisingly mild for an inertia gun thanks to the progressive comfort recoil pad, and the fact that the whole system moves rearward inside the receiver, instead of slamming a heavy bolt carrier like gas guns do. Weak points? Almost none for its intended purpose, but it's not a tactical shotgun. No extended tube, no rails, no ghost rings, and you'll want to avoid steel shot tighter than modified because of the thin barrel walls. Current real-world street price, as of late 2025, sits between $449 and $449 for the standard satin walnut 12-gauge models, with the 20-gauge versions hovering right around $499, $599, and the limited silver editions pushing closer to $1,850 when you can find them. Pound for pound, this is still one of the best looking, best handling, lowest maintenance semi-autos you can take to the dove field or the grouse woods without feeling like you're swinging a black plastic tactical stick. If you want a shotgun that shoots like a dream, looks like heirloom furniture, and will probably outlive you, the Montefeltro is an easy yes. Now, sliding into the number 13 spot, we have the absolute pinnacle of competition over and unders, the Caesar Guerini Invictus 4 Sporting. This is the shotgun that serious clay shooters dream about when they're ready to step away from really good and go straight into money no object territory. Right out of the Deluxe hard case, the first thing that hits you is that hand-polished, deep engraved coin finish with its ultra-thin protective DLC coating. It looks like liquid silver poured over the receiver. And even after tens of thousands of rounds, it still shines like it just left the factory floor in Italy. Overall length runs 47.25 inches with the 30-inch barrels, or just a hair under 49.25 inches with the 32-inch tubes, and at roughly 8.3 pounds depending on wood density. It swings like a magic wand on crossing targets while still feeling rock solid on long incoming birds. The heart of the Invictus system is the revolutionary replaceable Invictus block and cam. After roughly 300,000 rounds, yes, you read that right, you can swap the block instead of buying a whole new gun, which is why top-level competitors absolutely love it. The Boss-style monoblock barrels are chrome-lined, feature 5-inch duocon, forced cones for reduced pellet deformation, and insanely uniform patterns, and come with 6 Maxxis competition chokes, cylinder through extra full, that throw laser-tight groups at 50-plus yards. The ventilated 10 to 8mm tapered rib with white Bradley-style front bead and steel mid-bead keeps your eye floating perfectly down the line. And the vented center rib between the barrels dumps heat fast on 200 target days so the Mirage never messes with your sight picture. Trigger, the DTS Ultra Crisp system is fully adjustable for take-up, over travel, length of pull, and even finger reach. Most shooters end up with a glass-breaking 3.25-3.5 lb pull that resets faster than you can blink. Stock dimensions are classic sporting with palm swell pistol grip, right or left-hand cast options, and a beautifully figured grade 4 or higher Turkish walnut set, finished in hand-rubbed oil that feels warm and grippy even when your hands are sweating on the last station of a championship shoot-off. The rounded sporting forend is wide enough for control, but narrow enough for fast hand movement, and the schnabel lip just feels right. Recoil is tamed by a soft factory pad and perfectly balanced weight distribution. You can shoot 300-400 rounds in a day and still have a shoulder the next morning. Weak points? Honestly, at this level, there aren't many. It's heavy compared to a Featherlight semi-auto. It's overkill for casual weekend clays. And the current street price sits right around $11,950, $12,500 depending on wood and engraving options. But if you're the guy or gal standing on the podium at the World Fight Ask, US Open, or Nationals year after year, the Invictus 5 isn't an expense. It's the tool that literally pays for itself in trophies and pride. This is Italian artistry meets bulletproof engineering, and once you shoulder one, everything else feels like a compromise. Coming in hot at number 12, the Miroku MK38 is the Japanese masterpiece that serious trap and sporting clays shooters dream about when they want a gun that feels like an extension of their body and just refuses to miss. Built by Miroku in Kochi, Japan, the same factory that makes Browning's legendary Citori line, the MK38 is essentially the trap-oriented evolution of the Browning 725 platform, but with its own personality and refinements that have made it a cult favorite across Europe, Australia, and the UK for decades. This is an over-under with 30-inch or 32-inch barrels. Most trap models run the full 32-inch for that silky swinging feel, an overall length around 50 inches, and a weight of roughly 3.7 to 3.85 kilo, 8.2, 8.5 lbs, depending on wood density, which is perfect for taming recoil while still letting you stay on target during long 100 or 200 target rounds. The monoblock steel frame and full-width hinge pin lockup are over-engineered in the best way. Shooters regularly put 100,000 plus rounds through these without measurable wear on the breech face or hinge. Up front, you get Invector Plus extended choke tubes, usually shipped with 1.4, 1-2, and 3-4 for handicap trap work. A 10mm tapered top rib that runs parallel then gently drops to 8mm at the muzzle for a perfectly flat sight picture, and a white Bradley-style front bead paired with a steel mid-bead so your eye instantly knows it's on plane. The stock is cut from grade 2 or grade 3, American walnut with deep hand-rubbed oil finish that pops under the lights and shrugs off rain. And the palm swell pistol grip plus tulip-style fore-end give you that classic English feel with Japanese precision dimensions, a 14.375-inch length of pull standard, adjustable trigger shoe, and drop numbers tuned for 60-40 or 70-30 patterns right out of the box. The action is hand-fitted and polished inside. The trigger breaks at a crisp 3.754 lbs with almost zero creep, and the mechanical single selective system means it will fire even if a primer fails. No lost birds because of a dead trigger. Recoil is noticeably softer than most Italian competition guns, thanks to the slightly heavier barrels and perfect balance point right at the hinge pin. On the downside, it's not cheap. Street price in late 2025 for a new MK38 Trap Grade 3 or adjustable comb version is hovering right around $6,800 depending on wood and options. And the sporter versions with 30-inch barrels and flatter rib can still pull $5,800 and $6,300. So this is definitely pro-level or one gun for life territory. It's not optics ready, it's not lightweight for upland carry, and you'll never see one in flat dark earth. But if your game is American trap, DTL, Olympic trap, or high-volume sporting clays where consistency and durability matter more than anything else, the Miroku MK38 is still one of the most underrated, overbuilt, and flat-out beautiful competition shotguns on the planet. At number 11 sits the absolute wild card of the entire list, the IWI Tavor TS12, a bullpup semi-automatic 12-gauge that looks like it escaped from a sci-fi movie and somehow still ended up being one of the most practical high-capacity shotguns ever made. This Israeli beast measures just 28.34 inches overall, while keeping a full 18.5-inch barrel, which means you get real ballistic performance in a package shorter than many standard AR-15s with their stocks collapsed. The magic is in its triple rotating magazine tube system, 3 independent 5-round tubes. That's 5 2-3 of 4-inch shells, or 4 3-inch magnums per tube, giving you a total of 15 plus 1 rounds of uninterrupted 12-gauge fury. When one tube runs dry, a quick flick of the release rotates the next full tube into battery and automatically chambers the first shell, so you never break your rhythm. It runs on a short-stroke gas piston with 2 manual regulator settings, one for light target and low recoil loads, the other for heavy hunting or buckshot, making it genuinely one of the most load-tolerant semi-auto shotguns on the planet. The barrel accepts standard Beretta Benelli mobile choke tubes, ships with full, modified, and cylinder, and the smooth bore is chrome-lined for longevity. Up front, you get full-length M-lock slots on both sides and bottom of the handguard, plus a top Picatinny rail that runs the entire length of the receiver for any optic you want. Red dots, low-power variables, even night vision all sit perfectly co-witnessed with the protected fiber optic front sight. Controls are fully ambidextrous, the crossbolt safety, mag release, and even the charging handle can be swapped in seconds. 4 built-in QD sling points let you run 2-point, single point, or whatever carry style you prefer. Weight comes in right at 8.8 pounds unloaded, which is hefty, but helps tame the recoil of full-power 3-inch loads in a bullpup that short. The grip is AR-15 compatible, the stock has a thick rubber pad, and the whole thing is built from high-impact polymer with a sealed action that shrugs off mud, sand, and water. Downsides? It's a little chunky for really tight spaces. The trigger is decent but not match grade, around 6-7 lbs. And reloading the tubes takes practice. You stuff shells in from the rear like a traditional tube gun, but doing it fast under stress is a skill. Street price as of late 2025 hovers right around $1,249, $1,299 depending on color, black, FDE, or OD green. And for that money, you're getting the highest factory capacity of any semi-auto shotgun on the civilian market, period. If you ever thought, I wish my shotgun held as much as 3 normal ones without needing detachable magazines, IWI built the TS12 just for you. It's quirky, it's loud, it's ridiculously fun. And in a serious social situation, it gives you more onboard firepower than anything else in this countdown without crossing into NFA territory. Love it or think it's overkill, the Tavor TS12 is impossible to ignore. Number 10 on our countdown is the legendary Remington 870 TAC-14, the ultimate compact 12-gauge monster that turns the most famous pump-action shotgun platform in history into a fire-breathing, non-NFA firearm built for pure close-quarters dominance. This beast rocks a short 14-inch cylinder bore barrel paired with the classic Remington 870 receiver, giving you an insane overall length of just 26.3 inches while still delivering full-power 12-gauge performance that hits like a freight train out to realistic defensive ranges. Weight comes in at a very wieldy 5.6 pounds unloaded, so pretty much anyone can run it fast and keep it on target even during extended strings of fire. Up front, you get a Magpul M-Lock fore-end that lets you slap on a weapon light, vertical grip, or hand stop without adding unnecessary bulk. And at the rear sits the Shockwave Raptor pistol grip that's become the gold standard for controlling hard-kicking short-barrel shotties. It keeps your wrist in a natural position and soaks up a surprising amount of felt recoil. The tubular magazine holds 4+1 rounds of 2, 3, 4-inch or 3-inch shells. You can actually squeeze 5+1 with Aguila mini shells if you're into that. And because it's built on the timeless 870 action, with dual action bars, steel-to-steel lockup, and that bomb-proof milled receiver, it runs ridiculously smooth and reliable no matter how dirty or neglected it gets. Sights are simple but effective. A single brass bead up front that's fast to pick up in low light. And the matte black oxide finish kills glare while shrugging off rust and scratches. The crossbolt safety is ambidextrous and right where your thumb wants it. And the pump release is oversized for glove-friendly operation. What really sets the TAC-14 apart is how it completely redefines maneuverability. You can swing this thing inside a hallway, vehicle, or cramped home without ever sweeping the muzzle past your intended target zone. Yet you still retain the full ballistic punch of a proper 12-gauge load, whether you're running Zuri 0 buck, Navarre 4 buck, or heavy-hitting slugs. Recoil is stout. No way around physics with a 14-inch barrel and under 6-pound gun. But the Raptor grip and the natural mass of the steel receiver make it far more controllable than you'd expect. Most shooters can dump the entire tube accurately in under 3 seconds with practice. Downsides, it's loud. It's brutal on the wrist if you're not used to it. And some states have weird rules about firearms versus shotguns. So, always check local laws. Current street price as of late 2025 floats right around $429, $469 depending on where you shop, occasionally dipping into the high 300s on sales, making it one of the absolute best bangs for the buck, pun intended, in the entire defensive shotgun world. If you want maximum stopping power in the smallest possible legal package without stepping into NFA tax stamp territory, the Remington 870 TAC 14 is still, years after its release, an absolute no-brainer that earns its top 10 spot every single time. Number 9 on our countdown is the Mossberg Maverick 88, the ultimate proof that a truly reliable shotgun doesn't have to cost an arm and a leg. This is basically Mossberg's budget-friendly version of the legendary 500 series, built in the same Texas factory, using many of the same parts and the exact same rock-solid pump-action DNA, but stripped of a few cosmetic frills to hit an insanely low street price that's hovering right around $230s. $260 depending on the exact model and current deals as of late 2025. Let's talk specs on the most common configurations you'll actually see on shelves. The all-purpose field jock security combo usually wears a 28-inch vent rib barrel with AccuChoke threads, modified tube included, or the 20-inch or 18.5-inch cylinder bore. Security barrel, giving you an overall length of roughly 47.5 inches down to 39 inches respectively. Empty weight sits between 6 and 7 pounds depending on barrel and stock. Light enough to carry all day in the duck blind. Heavy enough to soak up recoil from hot 3-inch magnums without beating you up. Chambered for 2 3/4-inch and 3-inch 12-gauge shells, the standard magazine tube holds 5+1. Though some 18.5-inch models are legally plugged to 2+1 for certain hunting regs. Easy fix if you want full capacity. You also have a 6-shot 20-gauge version that's incredibly popular for smaller shooters and upland hunters. What makes the Maverick 88 so bulletproof, or rather shot-proof, is the tried-and-true Mossberg pump design. Dual action bars for super smooth, bind-free cycling, twin extractors that yank even swollen, dirty hulls out without fail, a steel-to-steel lockup, and that famous anti-jam shell elevator that practically eliminates the dreaded Mossberg short-stroke malfunction you sometimes hear about on older guns. The tang-mounted crossbolt safety is fully ambidextrous and impossible to miss under stress, and the trigger group is the same durable aluminum unit found on the pricier 500 and 590 series. Feature-wise, you get a tough black synthetic stock and forend that laugh at rain, mud, and blood. A simple brass bead front sight, or adjustable rifle sights on slug models, and a drilled and tapped receiver on many current production guns so you can slap on a rail and red dot if you want to go tactical. The slug barrel versions come fully rifled with rifle sights and routinely shoot 1, 3, 4, 2, 1, 4, and 2-inch groups at 100 yards with modern Sabot slugs. That's deer-dropping accuracy for pocket change. Pros, stupid reliable, parts interchange with the 500-590 family, so upgrades are everywhere. Recoil is very manageable, and at roughly $250, it's often the least expensive pump-action 12-gauge from a major American brand you can buy new in a big box store. Downsides are honestly minor. The forend can feel a little rattly compared to a 590A1. The bluing is basic and will wear if you're rough on it. And there's no factory flex in the stock or fiber optic sights unless you add them yourself. But for a truck gun, first shotgun, home defense beater, or something to hand to a kid learning the ropes, it's nearly impossible to beat. Bottom line, the Mossberg Maverick 88 is the working man's pump that just refuses to quit, no matter how hard you try to kill it. If you're on a tight budget but still demand real American-made quality that will last generations, this is the one to grab, period. Coming in at number 8 on our list, the G-Force Arms GFY-12 Hammer. Yeah, that's really the name, and it's every bit as bold as it sounds. Is a Turkish-built, inertia-driven, semi-automatic 12-gauge that's been turning heads because it legitimately performs like guns that cost 3 or 4 times as much. Overall length sits right at 38.5 inches, with the collapsible stock fully extended, dropping down to about 35 inches collapsed. So it's short enough to swing fast indoors, but still feels balanced in the field. The heart of this thing is a buffer tube-operated inertia system, basically a hybrid between a classic Benelli-style inertia drive and an AR-15-style buffer tube that lives inside the buttstock. That setup does 2 huge things. First, it soaks up a ton of felt recoil. People routinely say it kicks softer than most other budget semis. And second, it cycles ridiculously reliably with everything from light 1-ounce target loads all the way up to heavy 3-inch Magnum waterfowl and buckshot rounds without needing gas adjustments. The 18.5-inch barrel is made from 4140 chrome moly steel, proof-tested for 3-inch shells and threaded for Benelli mobile-style chokes. You get 5 chokes in the box: cylinder, improved, modified, improved, modified, and full. So you're covered for close-up home defense out to long-range goose hunting. Weight comes in around 6.8 to 7 pounds unloaded depending on configuration, which keeps it light enough to carry all day but heavy enough to swing smoothly. Receiver is forged 7075 T6 aluminum up top with a polymer lower. Everything hard anodized black, and the one-piece synthetic stock and forend are rock solid with aggressive texturing that locks into your hand even when it's pouring rain or you're wearing gloves. You get a full-length Picatinny rail on top for optics, M-lock slots at 3, 6, and 9 o'clock on the forend, a beefy charging handle, oversized bolt release, and a cross-bolt safety that's easy to hit with either hand. Magazine capacity is a standard 5+1 with 2, 3, 4, or 3-inch shells, but because it uses a removable tube, some owners have swapped in longer Nordic or Carlson tubes for 7+1 or more if your local laws allow. Out of the box, it ships with a decent recoil pad, cute D-sling points front and rear, and a surprisingly clean 5.6 LB trigger for an under $400 shotgun. The big standout feature is just how soft shooting and reliable it is. The buffer spring eats recoil like a much more expensive gun, and the inertia system stays clean way longer than traditional gas guns. Downsides: the factory plastic trigger guard feels a little flexy. Some guys swap it for an aluminum one. Fit and finish isn't quite Beretta level, and early models had occasional issues with the magazine spring, but current production guns seem to have that sorted. As of late 2025, street price on the GFY-12 Hammer is hovering right around $299–349 at most major retailers, occasionally dipping to $279 on sale, which makes it one of the absolute best dollar for performance deals in the entire semi-auto shotgun world right now. If you want to do it all 12 gauge that runs when it's filthy, kicks like a 20 gauge, and leaves you with enough cash left over for a case of shells and a decent red dot, the G-Force GFY-12 Hammer is stupidly hard to beat at number 8. Number 7 on our countdown is the Beretta A300 Ultima Patrol, a tactical shotgun that takes the legendary reliability of Beretta's A300 Field Series and transforms it into an absolute home defense and duty-ready monster with pure Italian flair. This thing is built on the proven A300 gas-operated platform that's been hunting ducks and doves for years, but now it's dressed in full tactical gear and ready to rock in the darkest corners of your house or on the range. Overall length sits at a very maneuverable 37.8 inches with the fixed stock, keeping it short enough to swing fast in hallways, yet long enough to stay perfectly legal without any tax stamps. That 19.1-inch barrel is threaded for Beretta Benelli pattern mobile chokes right out of the box, and it ships with 3 of them: improved cylinder, modified, and full. So you can dial in your pattern from room-clearing wide spreads to tighter buckshot groups at 25 yards. The chamber is a full 3 inches, so it happily devours everything from light 1-ounce target loads all the way up to the heaviest 3-inch Magnum buckshot or slugs without missing a beat. The heart of the gun is Beretta's clean-running, self-regulating gas system with a piston that practically wipes itself. Way less carbon buildup than most tactical semis, meaning you can run hundreds of rounds of duty ammo and still have a soft-shooting, reliable beast. Recoil is noticeably tamed thanks to the kickoff hydraulic recoil reduction in the stock and the thick microcore butt pad, letting you stay on target for fast follow-up shots even with hot loads. Ergonomics are where this shotgun really shines. Oversized charging handle, oversized bolt release, and an enlarged loading port that makes quad loading a breeze even with gloved hands in the middle of the night. The reversible crossbolt safety is huge and truly ambidextrous, and the trigger guard is enlarged for winter gloves. Up top, you get a full-length Picatinny rail machined directly into the 7075 T6 aluminum receiver, ready for any red dot or optic you want to slap on. The handguard is slim M-lock with QD sling points at 3 and 9 o'clock, and there's even a barrel clamp that adds 3 more M-lock slots while locking down the extended 7BU1 magazine tube. Yes, 7 in the tube plus 1 in the chamber for a total of 8 rounds of 12-gauge Fury. Length of pull is a very compact 13 inches straight from the factory, making it one of the fastest handling tactical shotguns on the market. Especially for smaller statured shooters or anyone running body armor, the aggressive texturing on the pistol grip and forend locks into your hand, whether it's raining, sweaty, or you're wearing gloves. Weight comes in right around 7.1 pounds unloaded, light enough to move fast, heavy enough to soak up recoil. Pros: lightning fast handling, ultra reliable gas system that runs dirty or clean, eats any load you feed it, optics ready out of the box, true 7+1 capacity, and that legendary Beretta fit and finish. Cons: the fixed stock means you can't adjust LOP without aftermarket parts, and some folks wish it came with ghost ring irons instead of just the rail, but that's an easy add-on. Street price as of late 2025 is hovering right around the 1,049s to 1,090s depending on the shop, which is an absolute bargain for a premium Italian tactical shotgun that can genuinely go toe-to-toe with guns costing hundreds more. If you want European craftsmanship, soft recoil, and pro-level features without breaking $2,000, the A300 Ultima Patrol is hands down one of the smartest buys on the market today. At number 6 on our countdown sits the Mossberg 940 Pro Tactical, an absolute beast of a semi-auto 12-gauge that Mossberg built from the ground up to dominate the modern tactical and 3-gun world while still being friendly enough for home defense or even some hunting duty. This thing is loaded with features you normally only see on guns twice the price, and right now, in late 2025, you can find them on the shelf for around $870, $950 depending on the exact configuration, with the Hollow Sun included bundles pushing closer to $1,000. Still an insane value. Overall length comes in at a very maneuverable 37.5 inches with the 18.5-inch barrel, keeping it short enough to swing fast in tight spaces, but long enough to stay out of NFA territory. Empty weight is a very manageable 7.75 pounds, so it's not going to wear you out during long-range days or matches. The heart of the 940 Pro Tactical is Mossberg's redesigned clean-running gas system with enlarged vents and a new piston design that dramatically cuts carbon buildup. You can literally run hundreds of rounds of everything, from light 1-ounce target loads to heavy 3-inch Magnum buck and slugs without cleaning, and it just keeps cycling. The barrel is drilled and tapped for optics, but the real star is the factory-milled RMSC footprint shield cut on the receiver, letting you slap a Hollow Sun 407K, 507K EPS carry, or any other micro red dot, straight on with no plate needed. If you prefer bigger dots, Mossberg includes adapter plates in the box for RMR and other popular footprints. Up front, you get a protected fiber optic pipe paired with a beefy, fully adjustable ghost ring rear that's shielded on all sides. Perfect if you're running irons in the real world where stuff gets knocked around. The extended forend wears an aggressive texture, an internal heat shield, M-lock slots at 3, 6, and 9 o'clock, plus QD cups built in so you can mount lights, lasers, or a hand stop exactly where you want them. One of the coolest tricks is the included Vangkamp side saddle that bolts directly to the receiver and holds 6 extra shells ready to go without adding bulk. Controls are enlarged and glove-friendly. The charging handle, bolt release, and safety are all oversized and easy to hit under stress. And the trigger guard is opened up for faster access. Length of pull is adjustable from 13 to 14.25 inches, with the included spacers and shims, so you can dial in a perfect fit no matter your build or body armor. The stock itself wears a thick rubber recoil pad, and the whole gun is finished in a durable Cerakote in black or flat dark earth. Capacity is a healthy 7+1 with 2 3/4-inch shells, or 6+1 with 3-inch magnums, and the magazine tube is easy to extend if you ever want more. Recoil is surprisingly tame for a gas gun thanks to the new valve design, and a beefier return spring that soaks up extra energy. Pros: lightning-fast cycling, optics ready out of the box, runs dirty, excellent ergonomics, lifetime warranty, and it's made right here in the USA. Downsides: it's a little heavier than some pure competition guns, and the forend can get warm after a few hundred rounds, but that's what the heat shield is for. Bottom line, at under $9 for a do-it-all tactical semi-auto that comes holosun ready and loaded with pro-level features, the Mossberg 940 Pro Tactical is one of the smartest buys on the market right now, and absolutely earns its spot at number 6. Number 5 on our countdown is the Winchester SX4 Defender, the ultimate one shotgun to rule them all that can legitimately go from smashing clay targets in a 3-gun match in the morning to sitting in a muddy turkey blind by afternoon without missing a beat. This is Winchester's battle-ready version of their flagship SX4 semi-auto platform, built to handle anything you throw at it with zero drama. At the heart of this beast is the proven active valve gas system, one of the smartest designs on the market, that automatically regulates gas pressure depending on the load. Feed it light and 1-ounce target loads, and it bleeds off excess gas to keep the action gentle and fast. Slam in heavy 3-inch Magnum duck or turkey loads, and it uses every bit of that energy to cycle reliably without beating the gun, or your shoulder, to death. That means real-world reliability across the widest possible ammo range of any production semi-auto shotgun out there. Overall length comes in at a very handy 39.5 inches, with the 18.5-inch barrel, making it short enough to swing fast in tight cover, or clear a hallway, yet long enough to feel smooth on flying targets. Total weight sits right around 7 pounds unloaded, light enough to carry all day in the uplands, but with enough mass up front to soak up recoil and keep the muzzle steady for quick follow-up shots. The barrel is backbored and chrome-lined for durability and easy cleaning, and it's threaded for the excellent Invictus Plus choke system. You get improved cylinder, modified, and full tubes in the box, plus an optional breacher choke if you want that tactical look. Up on top, Winchester gave it a beefy Picatinny rail that runs almost the full length of the receiver, ready for any red dot, holographic sight, or low-power variable optic you want to mount. Backup iron sights are rock solid. A bright fiber optic front pipe paired with a fully adjustable ghost ring rear that's protected by steel wings. The furniture is pure workhorse, matte black composite stock and forend with aggressive texturing that locks into wet or gloved hands, a thick rubber recoil pad that actually works, and that gorgeous flat dark earth Cerakote finish on the aluminum receiver and barrel that shrugs off rust, scratches, and looks badass doing it. Length of pull is a standard 14.25 inches, but Winchester includes spacers if you need to tweak it. Controls are oversized and exactly where you want them. Big bolt release, big reversible safety, and a trigger that breaks consistently right at 5.56 pounds with minimal creep. Capacity is 4+1 with 2 3/4-inch shells, perfectly legal for most hunting regs. And the oversized loading port makes quad loading a breeze when you're running stages. Out of the box, street price right now hovers between $850 and $920 depending on the dealer, which is an absolute steal for this level of performance and versatility. Weak points? Honestly, not many. Some guys complain the forend can get warm after 100 rounds of heavy loads. It's an aluminum barrel insert, and the trigger isn't match grade, but for a do-it-all field tactical gun, you're not going to find anything noticeably better without spending significantly more money. If you only own one semi-auto 12 gauge for the rest of your life, a lot of experienced shooters would hand you the Winchester SX4 Defender and say, "Here, problem solved. It's fast, soft shooting, dead nuts reliable, and tough as nails. Everything a modern fighting hunting shotgun should be." Number 4 on our list, the Beretta Winchester 1 Tactical Mod 2 is hands down one of the fastest, smoothest, and most refined tactical semi-auto shotguns you can buy in 2025. This Italian beast takes the legendary 1301 platform and cranks everything up several notches with the new Mod 2 upgrades, keeping its crown as the king of speed in the defensive shotgun world. At the heart of it is Beretta's famous blink gas system, a short, ultra-efficient cross-tube piston design that cycles a staggering 36% faster than almost any other semi-auto 12 gauge on the market, letting you empty a full tube and reload before most guns have even finished their first follow-up shot. That system, combined with aggressively enlarged controls and a slick new coating on the bolt and carrier, runs ridiculously clean even after hundreds of rounds of cheap bulk pack ammo. Overall length is a tight 37.8 inches with the fixed stock, or just 36 inches with the stock collapsed on the pistol grip only LE version, making it one of the most maneuverable 7+1 tactical shotguns out there, while still keeping that full 18.5-inch barrel for maximum ballistic performance and legal non-NFA status in most jurisdictions. Weight comes in right around 6.6 to 6.8 lbs unloaded, depending on configuration. So it's light enough to swing fast indoors, but heavy enough to soak up recoil like a champ. The 3-inch chamber happily devours everything from light target loads to the heaviest 3-inch Magnum buckshot and slugs without hiccups. And the oversized charging handle, bolt release, and safety selector are truly ambidextrous and glove-friendly. You can run this gun hard in the dark, rain, or with cold hands and never miss a beat. Beretta added aggressive knurling to the forend and pistol grip, M-lock slots at 3, 6, and 9 o'clock for lights, lasers, or hand stops, and the new Pro Lifter that lets you drop shells straight into the mag tube without pinching your thumb or breaking your shooting grip. The trigger is a huge upgrade too. Semi-flat face, super short take-up, crisp 5 to 5.5 lb break, and an almost non-existent reset that makes doubles on steel feel like cheating. Up top, you get a full-length Picatinny rail with a protected fiber optic front sight and a ghost ring rear that co-witnesses perfectly with any mini red dot. Recoil is tamed by the thick microcore butt pad and the low-bore axis. So even with hot dishes or buck or slugs, you stay on target for lightning-fast follow-ups. Pros: lightning-fast cycle speed, extremely reliable with any load. Outstanding ergonomics, runs cleaner than most gas guns, perfect balance, and now comes optics ready out of the box. Cons: still on the pricier side, magazines tubes aren't interchangeable with the older 1301 models, and some people wish it came with adjustable stock options from the factory, though aftermarket fixes that quick. Real-world street price as of late 2025 sits right around $699, $1,749 for the standard model, and about $790 for the version with the factory Holosun 507K package. If you want the absolute fastest, most polished tactical 12 gauge that money can buy without stepping into custom shop territory, the Beretta 1301 Tactical Mod 2 is still wearing the crown in 2025, period. Number 3 on our list, the legendary Mossberg 500. The undisputed king of pump-action shotguns that has been trusted by hunters, law enforcement, military forces, and everyday defenders for over 6 decades straight. This is the shotgun your grandpa probably still has leaning in the corner, the one that taught half of America how to shoot. and the same platform that's still issued to police departments and armed forces worldwide because it simply refuses to die. Available in countless configurations, the Mossberg 500 family stretches from full-size field models to compact home defense cruisers and everything in between. But today we're spotlighting why it still crushes the competition in 2025. Overall length ranges from as short as 28 inches on the cruiser and shockwave models all the way up to 48.5 inches on the longer-barreled hunting versions, with the most popular all-purpose models landing right around 39 to 41 inches with an 18.5 or 20-inch barrel. The classic field versions usually wear a 26 or 28-inch vent rib barrel, while tactical and deer models stick with 18.5 to 24 inches. Weight hovers between 6.5 and 7.5 pounds, depending on stock and barrel, making it light enough to carry all day yet heavy enough to soak up recoil. Chambered for 2, 3, 4, and 3-inch 12-gauge or 20-gauge shells. There's even a .410 version now. Capacity is typically 5+1 on 18 20-inch barrels and 8+1 on the longer 28-inch tubes with the magazine extension. What makes the 500 immortal is its bomb-proof design. Twin action bars for glass smooth, jam-free pumping even when it's filthy, dual extractors that yank spent holes out no matter how swollen they get, a steel-to-steel lockup, an anti-jam shell elevator, and the famous tang-mounted ambidextrous safety that works perfectly for lefties and righties. The receiver is drilled and tapped for optics rails, and Mossberg's huge aftermarket means you can turn it into anything. Slug gun with rifle sights, turkey tack driver with camo and fiber optic sights, retro police riot gun, or modern tactical beast with heat shields and M-LOK forends. The Super Bantam version is a genius move for families. It comes with 2 stock spacers so you can start a kid or smaller framed shooter at a 12-inch length of pull and grow it to a full 13 to 14 inches as they get taller, all while keeping the same gun. You've got interchangeable AccuChoke tubes on smoothbore models, fully rifled cantilever barrels for saboted slugs that'll reach out to 150+ yards accurately, and the legendary Mossberg reliability that lets you shoot cheap bulk pack birdshot 1 minute and heavy 3-inch Magnum buckshot or slugs the next without hiccups. Pros? Stupid reliable, endlessly customizable, parts everywhere, American made, and you can literally beat someone over the head with it and it'll still function. Cons? The factory plastic trigger group feels a little flexy compared to an 870. The safety is perfect, but the slide release can be a little stiff when new, and out of the box, it's pretty basic. But that's also why it's so affordable. Street price in late 2025 for a brand new standard Mossberg 500 with 28-inch field barrel or 18.5-inch security barrel sits right around $430, $480 depending on finish and exact model, with combo packages, field plus short barrel, still under $550. For that money, you're getting a shotgun that police, military, and millions of civilians have bet their lives on for generations, and it's still winning in 2025. If you can only own one shotgun for the rest of your life, a huge percentage of the planet will tell you to make it a Mossberg 500, timeless, tough as nails, and still sitting pretty at number 3. Runner-up at number 2, and honestly one of the most underrated shotguns on the market right now, is the Savage Renegauge Security, a true American-made semi-auto beast that's built to devour absolutely any 12-gauge load you can throw at it, from light 1-ounce target loads all the way up to heavy 3-inch Magnum buckshot and slugs, without ever skipping a beat. At the heart of this thing is Savage's patented dual-regulating inline valve driv gas system, which is genuinely brilliant. 2 inline gas ports automatically adjust and vent excess pressure depending on the power of the shell, so you get buttery smooth cycling and dramatically reduced felt recoil no matter what you're running. That means no fiddly gas adjustments, no weak ejecting light loads, and no battering the gun with hot stuff. It just works, every single time. Overall length sits at a very maneuverable 38.9 inches with the factory 18.5-inch fluted barrel, which wears a tough melanite QPQ finish for corrosion resistance and helps keep weight down to a very controllable 7.6 pounds unloaded. The barrel is threaded for Beretta Benelli mobile-style chokes, and Savage includes 3 flush chokes, improved cylinder, modified, and full, right in the box so you're ready for defense, hunting, or competition from day one. The stock is where this gun really shines for fit-obsessed shooters. It comes with a fully adjustable comb, height, and cast, adjustable length of pull from 12.5 to 14.5 inches via included spacers and shims, and even adjustable drop at heel, letting you dial in a perfect cheek weld and sight picture, whether you're running ghost ring irons, a red dot on the full-length Picatinny rail, or a low-mounted LPVO. Speaking of sights, you get rugged adjustable ghost ring rear and high-visibility fiber optic front out of the box, protected by steel wings so they survive hard knocks. The enlarged loading port is aggressively beveled for lightning-fast quad loads. The bolt release and safety are oversized and easy to hit under stress, and the trigger guard is big enough for gloved hands. Capacity is a healthy 6+1 with 2 3/4-inch shells or 5+1 with 3-inch. And the chrome-plated action bars and heavy-duty return spring keep everything slick and reliable even when you're running it dirty. Up front, you've got M-LOK slots on the forend for lights or lasers, a thick rubber recoil pad that actually works. Paired with an internal stock buffer, recoil feels more like a soft 20 gauge than a hard-kicking 12. And the whole receiver is 70/75 aluminum with a matte black hard coat anodized finish that looks tactical without being flashy. One of the coolest design touches is the oversized trigger guard that doubles as a flare on the mag tube. It gives you something positive to grab when you're slamming shells home. Weak points? Honestly, not many at this price. Some guys say the forend can flex a tiny bit when you really crank on a weapon light, and at launch the trigger was a little heavy, around 6.5 to 7 lbs. Though most current production guns are breaking closer to 5 to 5.5 lbs and feel crisp. Street price as of late 2025 is hovering right around $159, $199 depending on the shop, which is an absolute steal when you stack it up against Italian semi-autos that cost twice as much, yet still can't match the Renegauge's load versatility and custom fit stock. If you want a do-it-all defensive or 3-gun shotgun that fits you like a custom rifle, cycles faster than you can pull the trigger, and won't choke on cheap bulk pack ammo, the Savage Renegauge security is legitimately hard to beat for the money. It's the one gun on this list that keeps climbing in real-world reputation the longer it's been out. And finally, sitting unchallenged at number 1, the Benelli M4 Tactical, the undisputed king of combat shotguns, officially designated the M1014 by the United States Marine Corps, and battle-proven from the deserts of Iraq to the streets of everywhere else that things go loud. This is the shotgun that wrote the book on "It Just Works When the World is on Fire." At its heart beats Benelli's legendary Argo system, auto-regulating gas-operated, with twin stainless steel pistons located right under the forearm that self-regulate for anything from light target loads all the way up to full-power 3-inch Magnum buckshot and slugs. No adjustments needed, no matter if it's bone dry, caked in mud, frozen solid, or submerged in salt water. The gas pistons are completely isolated from the receiver, so virtually zero carbon or fouling ever touches the action. It'll run thousands of rounds with nothing more than a quick wipe down. Overall length with the standard fixed pistol grip stock is a very maneuverable 34.9 inches, just 40 inches with the full collapsible M4 stock, keeping it fast in vehicles, tight hallways, or dense brush while still delivering full 18.5-inch barrel performance and legal non-NFA status in most jurisdictions. Weight comes in right around 7.8 to 8 pounds, depending on configuration. Heavy enough to soak up recoil, but light enough for all-day carry. Capacity is 5+1 with 2 3/4-inch shells, or still a solid 5+1 with 3-inch magnums. Some extended tubes push it to 7+1. The receiver is drilled and tapped with a full-length Picatinny rail, ghost ring rear, and protected front post. Sights are standard and fully adjustable. And the whole gun wears a military-spec hard anodized finish with an optional titanium Cerakote that laughs at corrosion. Controls are perfectly ambidextrous where they need to be. The bolt release is huge and glove-friendly, and the pistol grip stock combined with Benelli's legendary ComfortTech recoil reduction system drops felt kick dramatically. You can empty a tube of IWI 0 buck faster than most people can rack a pump and stay on target the whole time. Unique design touches include the iconic tri-rail forearm on some variants, a heat shield over the barrel, and the fact that this is one of the very few semi-auto shotguns officially type classified and adopted by a branch of the US military after passing the harshest reliability tests on the planet. Drawbacks? Honestly, the only real ones are the price and the weight compared to polymer wonders. Current street price as of late 2025 hovers right around $1,999, $2,050 for a brand new civilian M4 Tactical. NP marked models sometimes dip under $1,500 on sales. And it's still a chunk of aluminum and steel in a world full of lighter guns. But when your life, or the lives of the people next to you, depends on a shotgun going bang every single time for the next 20 years without fail, there is simply no substitute. The Benelli M4 isn't just a firearm. It's a statement that some tools are worth every single penny because they were forged in hell and came out smiling. That's why, year after year, it remains the undisputed #1 combat shotgun on the planet. All right, everyone. That brings us to the end of our deep dive into these rugged, dependable shotguns that have earned a reputation for refusing to give up no matter the conditions. Each one has its own strengths, and they all prove why shooters continue to rely on them year after year. If you've got a personal favorite from the list, or if there's a model you've been thinking about adding to your collection someday, feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. I always enjoy hearing what you all think. And if you like this breakdown and want more videos just like it, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll catch you in the next video.